show on Junkerup, I buy a Nascar.
Jump in this thing and see what it'll do.
Ready to rock this, bro?
I don't know what the hell happened, but we just lost power. It's 10 o'clock. Makes sense. Now I gotta find another one because we already sprayed degreaser everywhere. So we were able to make it to another car wash a couple miles away. This is kind of the seedy car wash. Don't really want to come to this one at night. And at least we have one light that works. That's it. That's all we got right there. So everything under the hood is like pitch dark now. So we're just gonna like time lapse this, get it done, get out of here. Isn't it fun to take the wrong thing, but do the right thing with it? This is my 2022 Duct Tape Drags Hoopty Challenge Dragster. Yeah, I know they're meant to turn left, and I will probably have the quickest car making that left-hand turn off of the drag strip. But this thing hasn't run in 14 years, and I've got a week to get it running and driving and get it dragster ready to run it down that track. I'm either gonna look really good or really stupid. Plus, I got to figure out how to get the judges, Dulcich, Freiberg, and Finnegan, to allow this car into the $5,000 Hoopty Challenge. But I have some ideas, and I think they're going to work. What do you think of that thing, Bolt? Huh? He must like it because he got so excited he jumped up and nicked me in the nose. Little dickhead. It's all right, he's a good boy. He was just trying to give me kisses on that toy that I brought him. I know he's going on riding that thing, but no, me only. So it is actually the next day from getting this thing up the driveway, pushing it. We actually did put a couple little cracks, or a little minor hairline cracks in the rear bumper because it's actually fiberglass. That was already there actually, I think. Not sure. Doesn't matter anyway, because eventually this body's coming off of it. But little background story on this car here, on how I obtained it, is this used to be my buddy Spencer Clark's car. He had just made his NASCAR debut in the Nationwide Series, and unfortunately was in an accident just after that, bringing his race car back from North Carolina from getting some updates on some other team. But it's a sad thing. I'll keep that short. But this was my buddy's car, and I've been friends with my buddy's family the whole time after that. TJ Clark, it's been like a dad to me. And so when they were moving and they were trying to sell this car, he never mentioned to me he was trying to sell it, so I was like, well, hell, I'll take it. So I got it from him, got a pretty good deal on it, and this is in fact one of their old race cars. This is one of the ones that Spencer had his seat in and wheeled the sucker, and he was a hell of a wheelman. I mean, I think of myself as a pretty good wheelman too, but Spencer had a track record of winning lots of races. So granted, I kind of had junk equipment, but he was definitely a wheelman, a good one. The only thing is, Spencer was this, this car was last raced, and I'm assuming 08, because when you look at the date that it was last certified was 08 for the Camping World West Series, which that is a lower rank of NASCAR. That's like right below the Nationwide car. So this wasn't his Nationwide car, this was his West Series car, which is one of the stepping stones of getting into NASCAR. And we can see here this NASCAR inspection on the fire suppression system. It was also dated 08. So I'm just assuming this car hasn't run in, well, I gotta do the math here, 14 years. So it's been a minute. But let's take a closer look at this thing. There's probably an inspection sticker on the fuel cell too. I don't even know. Well, there was. There's some kind of tag here. Oh, there is a tag. Okay, well, the date's not on it, but there's a tag there. But that is a 22-gallon fuel cell with the quick fuel. Yeah. Doesn't really do me any good, but it's kind of cool that it has it. Man, this thing is stout. This is most gooder. I likes it. The reason I chose this car is because, or the reason I wanted this car is I had a vision of a Daytona body on top of this chassis, a NASCAR Daytona. So I will stretch the wheelbase 12 inches and drop that body on there, but for right now I'm going to enjoy this sucker as is. And the way I've got to do that is I got to get it running first. My Dodge followers, which that's probably most of them, here's where you're going to get pissed off. If I can get this hood open. There we go. That is not a Dodge motor. That is in fact a Ford motor. I don't know exactly which Ford motor it is. All I know is that it makes like 650 to 700 horsepower. And it did run and drive. And no, I'm not going to take a 650, 700 horsepower motor out of a car to put something in it that is heavier and slower. So this is staying in there because it already runs and drives, supposedly. And I'm not gonna mess with it. When the hood's down, and so is my foot, I'm really not gonna care what is making all the noise. I'm just gonna be enjoying the noise that it makes. All right. Now, I need to see if this thing's even got any oil in it. I know they fired it up and moved it not terribly long ago. So I need to pop this hatch here, check the, I'm assuming there's a dipstick on the dry sump tank, because this is a full-blown dry sump motor. This is a Billy Badass motor. And this is a full cup car. I mean, it has all the fancy racing shit. This even has a badass brake system on it. So I'm actually looking forward to, after the duct tape drags, I really want to take this thing to the road course and beat on it, because this thing was last raced on the road course. So that would be, because you can't really do anything with these cars anymore. You can't take them and race them competitively. There's nothing, it's an outdated race car. But on like open track days at like Willow or Chuckwalla or anything like that, SCCA, or hell, I can even take it to Matt's on the autocross and beat the shit out of it. So that is ultimate fun. But I do have bigger plans for this thing, and it involves having a VIN number and a Charger body on it with a wing on it. All right, so I'm gonna go through the list here. I made a list, I need to find it. But first thing is, I need to check the oil level. I need to pop that tank off, or the lid on the tank, make sure there's oil in it. And I was told that I need to pop the belt off of the dry sump pump, and there's supposed to be a hex bolt right here, so I can stick a drill on it and spin the dry sump pump, so that way it'll prime the motor. But there's nothing there. I don't, and there's, I thought there was an Allen bolt there, but I think it might be a broken off. I think there might be a bolt broken off in there, so I might need to easy out that thing just so I can prime the motor. And one other thing I noticed when we were pushing it around is that the clutch pedal is dead. So there's no clutch pedal, and it's not that there's no fluid in it, it's that the piston is stuck in the master cylinder, because the rod is going up and down, but the piston inside the master cylinder is stuck in the depressed position. So I'm assuming that master is junk, but I think I might have the one I need. All right, it's the next day. Obviously the sun's a lot brighter, and it's time to start digging into this car. So oh yeah, I was looking for, Derek's here too. He's got to help me bleed this thing. So, and the last thing I was doing was looking for a master cylinder, and I know I have some. I just gotta see if it's the right size. So let's see. These are actually off of my dirt car. Oh no, these are off patina. Yeah, so this is the master cylinders that were on patina. No, that's a 7/8 thing. Don't worry. This one here is new. Oh, this one's a 3/4. So this one will work, and it's the style that I need, so that actually will work in the car. And since I already had it, it kind of saves me. Oh wait, I was gonna say it saves me money, but it doesn't, because I did have to buy this at one point. So not saving any money that way. But I need to get this guy in the car. So actually, Derek, you can do that. While I'm drilling out the broken bolt in the dry sump pump, if you want to remove the master cylinder, I can tackle that. You can tackle that. Then we put a battery in it, put some gas in it, and see if the sucker will fire up. What do you think?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Yep, see the clutch master that was in it, it's completely dead. It's all like gnarly looking brake fluid in there. It's junk. But this guy here, it still has a plunger to it, so this one's good. Actually, it should be. It's brand new. But we'll go ahead and swap the Heim joint and the fitting over to this guy and get it bolted back in. All right, pump it. Oh, there it goes. It finally squirted. I think there was a blockage in the line or something, but I couldn't vacuum it down or nothing. All right, pump it. Yep, it bolt that's broke off in there. Alright, there, they got it out. Alright, success. Now I can put a new bolt in there and we can actually prime this motor. I don't know how much oil is supposed to be in this dry sump tank. I'm assuming probably like 12 quarts. I should look it up. But to me, as long as there's oil in it, it should be fine. To a certain level. Pop this lid up. I remember watching a video on YouTube talking about cheaters in NASCAR, and this dry sump tank lid was one of them. What they did is they put longer bolts than what they should have used to hold this lid down, and as they're going down the track, the low pressure under the car could escape through the lid because it would lift up a little bit, and it would reduce some of the drag on the car and be faster down the straightaways at like Talladega and Daytona. All those videos of little cheater tricks are kind of cool. Oh, it's even got a, it's got an oil temp gauge on the backside. I know it's a temp because I can see the backside of the gauge. Smells like race gas. Oh, I can see the ground, yep. Okay. Alright. It's like 3/4 of the way full with oil, so I think we're fine. Pressure time. Hopefully. Alright, maybe there's a reason they parked this car. Alright, here we go.
Alright, pressure.
Pressure?
Yeah.
Alright.
You're only getting like maybe like 45.
That's fine. How much pressure do we have?
About 45. Yeah. Don't you have to take the tire off?
I'm gonna try and do it without. There we go. Crap. Why does it not fit now? Yeah, it fell in. So that's the trick. If you got yourself a NASCAR and you want to put your battery in with the tire on, just let the air out of the tire. It'll fall in place. So after getting the air cleaner off and brake cleaning the inside of this carburetor because I don't have any carb cleaner, I noticed the main jet air bleeds are missing. You know, kind of makes me wonder why. Did they rob them out for another engine, or is that some trick way of getting more air in the motor with a restrictor plate? I don't know. I don't know why the air blades would be missing out of it, but we got the battery in it, we got power, the clutch is bled. See, I bought 5 gallons of 110 octane racing gas. This stuff smells good, but I don't want to just dump all of it in the tank right away in case there's like, in case this thing doesn't run, because then it would just be like it'd be $100 worth of fuel stuck in a tank. That'd be a, well, pain in the ass to get out. So I'm gonna prime the bowls in the carburetor and then kick it over, see what happens. Turn ignition off. All right, let's bump it. All right, it's out of gear. All right, ignition's hot. All right, Derek, get it over. Nothing's happening. I wonder if the kill switch is off. Let's try it now. There's a kill switch on the steering wheel. I'm hoping that was the issue. All right, go ahead. All right, we got. Go again. Go again. Let's put some gas in this bitch. Alright, so we know it runs. I need to make sure the fuel pump works, so hopefully this gauge here goes up a couple pounds. Alright, ignition's on. Alright, I topped the bowls back off. Derek, let me know if we build fuel pressure. It's the gauge all the way to the right, okay? Alright, go ahead and fire it up. Fuel pressure drop?
Oh, it's at 0 now.
Well, obviously.
What? No, I mean, it went up to 3 pounds, and it went right back down to 0 before the car shut off.
Alright, I don't know why, but it shut off. Derek said it had 3 pounds of fuel pressure. So I'm gonna get in here and fire this thing up and see what it's doing according to the gauges. So let me hop in this sucker. Ignition on. And here we go. No, we're not getting. You said that went to 3 pounds?
Yeah, dude, it did. It did for a minute, for a second.
Huh.
And then it dropped right back down to 0, dude. I watched it.
Alright, I took the fitting off the fuel pump, or off the fuel cell, and that filter's bone dry. It never even had any fuel run through it since we fired it up. So, need a. Hey Derek, why don't you suck on that, see if you can draw any fuel out. Ugh. I don't really want to suck on it either, so see if we can find something to draw fuel through. Maybe the pickup is just maybe the pickup is messed up, or we don't have enough gas in it because of the angle of the driveway. I don't know. We'll find out in a second. Well, we're getting fuel, but it's not really like a gushing line. It actually seems like it's kind of blowing air at the same time, so maybe it just needs a little bit more fuel. Because that should have been a stream of fuel coming out of that thing, not just spits. Alright, well, let's go get some more fuel. We're back. We got another 4 gallons in it. I went ahead and put the fuel lines back on the fuel filter, and it's jacked up in the left front right now, just so I can see if fuel will flow from the tank all the way to the fuel pump. So I got the suction side of the fuel pump loose. I'm gonna blow air in the tank again and see if we can get some fuel to come out of this side. So go ahead and fill her up, see if we can get it to squirt it out in the front. All right, Derek, let me know when we start getting fuel. Ready?
starting to get fuel.
Okay. I went ahead and reprimed the bowls on the carburetor. So, I reprimed, refilled the bowls on the carburetor. So, now is the time where we see if this thing will actually build some fuel pressure. Let me jump in here. A lot easier when the steering wheel's off. What do you think, Derek?
Yep.
You think we're gonna have fuel pressure this time?
You should.
All right. Main power on, ignition on. Here we go. I saw that tack go to 9,500.
It does sound better than this one.
Oh yeah. This little motor is buzzing, man. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Oh, I can't wait to hear this thing going down the track. But we still got a lot more work to do, but it's food time. We're both hungry and starving, so we're gonna eat. Now that we know it runs, it probably drives because the clutch did work. I did put it in gear while I was sitting here. So if I couldn't get it in gear, that means the clutch wasn't working. But now I need to try and clean up this glass. This stuff is really fogged up and hazy. Look at that. You can't drive with nothing like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and buff this thing out and see if it even works. I don't know. I've heard of people using Plastic X on Lexus windshields. I will give it a shot. So the buffing thing didn't quite work out. In order to save this Lexan, like, it doesn't look bad right now, but in the sunlight, it's pretty bad. Like, this is a side that I only did half a windshield. And after buffing it like 6 times, I'm like, ah, screw it, it ain't gonna work. That side's a lot hazier. I had some 2,000 and 3,000 wet paper for the DA, but I have no idea where it went. So I'm gonna have to go buy some of that. DA the front and back glass and the side glass, and then we'll buff it, because I think the Lexan's pretty screwed on the top layer, so we're gonna have to really cut it off. Right now, so I got this seat here. This is one of my old seats. We're gonna fix this seat in the car, because since I can't buff the glass, I'm like, well, can't drive the glass because we can't see through it, or we can't drive the car because I can't see through the glass. Can't put a seat in it because we can't see through the glass. So there's 2 things that's keeping me from driving this car: the glass and the seat. Well, since I'm stuck on one, might as well do the other. Oh wait, I think I said that backwards. Can't drive it because there's no seat in the car. I can't drive it because I can't see through the glass. So we're gonna fix one of those things right now. I got a bracket that was sitting in the car, and this bracket will work. So this is the back seat bracket, or back of the seat bracket. I just need to drill these holes out just a tad bit. And then I need to make a lower bracket. So one thing at a time. Ain't gonna fit, is it? Dang it. Yep, gotta take my shoulder braces off. I have to put them back on in the car. Can't fit it through the window. Gotta redo some hackery that's in there. You would think that it being a NASCAR, it would have like the top level fabrication stuff, but no. There's some lower teams that were pretty hackered. This is one of them. I gotta undo some hackery so I can put in some better hackery. Let's test this one more time. All right. So I got my lower bracket made on the seat. It's not bolted to the seat yet. It's just kind of holding the seat up. So I feel comfortable in the car right now. I don't have all my shoulder braces on. I don't have my head brace on yet, but that's fine. So the only problem I'm having is, so when I got my seat belts on, you know, that's gonna hold my shoulders in the seat, and I'm having to reach for the shifter. Like right now, this is in second, or no, this is in third right now. And so it's all the way forward, and I'm having to reach for it, you know, just with my fingers. So we're gonna have to pull this shifter out, bend it back, or see if I've got another shifter that's already bent back. Or so I need the ball. So usually I kind of just close my eyes and drop my arm where it's comfortable, and that's where the ball needs to be. So yeah, it needs to come back about 4 inches and probably 2 inches to the right. So we have to make that so that way I'm comfortable in it. Because when you're in the car and you're road racing or whatever, you want to be comfortable in the car. You're not going to want to have to be reaching for stuff and just. So I got to modify that. But other than that, the seat right here isn't too bad. So I can go ahead and put tabs on the lower bracket so I can bolt the seat to the bottom and drill some holes in the back bracket so that way the seat's mounted to the back. And I think I'm good on that. I even like the position of the cup holder. So yeah, that's good right there. Alright. So Derek, you can go ahead and pull this guy out. I'll pull the seat out so you got room. Okay. This is where the shifter was at. That's where I needed it to kind of end up at. That's about 4 inches back and 1 inch up. So we're just gonna take this little piece of bracket right here, cut it down, weld her up, and the shifter will be fixed. Alright, we got the modified shifter back in. Let's see how well it does on the blind eye test. So I haven't done it yet, so here we go. Get situated. Oh, right there. My hand falls right on it, so that's perfect. Even with my shoulders all the way back into the seat, my hand, I can go through all the gears, and that's not even fully extended. I got a little bit of bend right there, so that's perfect. All right, next thing is go ahead and finish mounting the seat now that that's done. we're gonna wait till we get back in the shade before we finish doing the interior stuff. So for right now, it's gonna be some boring electrical. I wanna add another electric fan to the oil cooler, which the oil cooler is behind the radiator. But regardless, the additional fan will help draw air through the radiator as well. I don't wanna be sitting and staging and overheating, so I'm gonna try and just add a little bit more airflow to that radiator. Plus, wherever I take it, I'll probably need the additional airflow anyway. Alright, it's pretty comfortable now. It has been like a solid 2 days of getting this seat fitted to the car, adjusted, lengthening the shifter, getting it to where I am comfortable in this car. And then buffer, so we had to wet sand the windshield with 1,000, and then we went to 2,000, and then we went to 3,000, and then we buffed it or polished it out, and that was on all the glass. So that was like 2 days worth of work to lead to this point where I can sit in the car, be comfortable, and see out the windshield and see out the back. But let me show you what we're going to be getting ready to do here in a little bit. See, there's not a whole lot of room getting in and out of this thing. There's actually, so from here to here is only 17 inches. But being as how I'm a skinny, I can wiggle my ass in there. All right, well, I've got a whole sticker packet over here. Let me show you. So this has to be looking like a Ford Taurus when we show up to duct tape drags. So that way I can pull off. Look at that. I got my V6 power license plates. We got our Taurus decals because David hates Ford Tauruses, so I'm showing up with a Ford Taurus. It's gonna look like a weasel little car, nothing special, family wagon. And then I've got numbers. This is my buddy's number, 23. So I had these made, these look like his old numbers, so we're gonna put those on the car. All right, we washed it, we cleaned it. I still need to wash the insides of the glass after we buffed it, but the car is actually somewhat presentable now. I gotta go run some errands with the woman, but then later tonight, when it's cool outside, hopefully no wind, I can start laying on the decals and making this thing look, ooh, I gotta show you this. Got my racing hubcaps to complete this shitty Ford Taurus look. Well, I don't have the metal ring in it right now. I'll do that later, but look at that. Doesn't that just take it from like race car to like, actually, you know what this looks like right now? This looks like that Ford Taurus that's outside of Alien Jerky in Baker, California. That's what it looks like, except there's a silver. So, yep, I'll get the rings on these things, get them installed later. But graphics, oh, I still want to take this thing for a test drive. I won't be able to do that tonight because it obviously doesn't have functional headlights. So, I'll do that later. But it's 2 full days of getting it to this point. So I saved you all of the monotonous just buffing and wet sanding and seat in, seat out, seat in, seat out, seat in, seat out, steering column up, adjusting left and right. So I saved you guys all that problem, or I saved you all that boredom anyways. All right, well, I gotta go run some errands, and tonight it's sticker time. Got me bunches of fresh meats to obliterate. These are actually not new, but they're just lightly used from a cup from a team here in town. And I would have already had a set on the car mounted so I can shred some tire for this video, but there ain't no fuel cell in the car. Here's why. Yep, last night when I went and picked up those tires, on my way back to the house, I come pulling up to the driveway and there's just a trail of fuel coming down the driveway. This car had been sitting for, like I said, 14, 15 years. The fuel cell had just deteriorated because there was no fuel in it, or the fuel that was in it, you know, went to shit. And when we did put fresh gas in it, it didn't take long for the fuel cell just to take a shit and start leaking everywhere. So I got no fuel cell, which means I can't do no burnouts with no gas. And I can't do no racing at duct tape drags with no gas. And I can't do Willow Springs with no gas. And a new fuel cell for one of these cars is redonkulously expensive. So, because these have the inlet with the whole rollover ball. Look, even the rollover ball is all kind of like rusty and just, so. Granted, I don't plan on rolling it over, but that whole fuel cell contraption, I think a new one is probably like $1,500, if not more. So I'm trying to find a used one. So good luck. I'm on the hunt for one right now. Back in business. Picked up an old fuel cell. Hopefully it's in better shape than mine. That should do it. The new fuel cell retaining bracket, actually that holds the fuel cell in the car, is done. I actually, if you look here, this one goes straight across. This one's kind of like, That's because the new, well, the doohickey, you know, the thing in the middle, where the fuel goes in and fuel comes out, brain part, that is not centered in the new fuel cell as it is the old one. So there's the old fuel cell. As you can see, that one's centered. New one's not, it's offset. And I need to go get a new longer fill tube because of that. Long story short, it's on the trailer and ready to go test it out. I would take it around the block, but then I started thinking about it. I've been in handcuffs before by taking something like this on the highway and getting it impounded. So not wanting to do it again, and today's an open practice day, Racetrack, here we come. Yesterday was just open practice. I just wanted to shake the car down, but I got so excited with all the RPM and the burn outage that I had to take the valve cover off. I had damaged the head of one of the valve stems. It actually kind of like mushroomed it down to where it had all kinds of flash in it. But avoided failure. That could have dropped into the engine and exploded like a time bomb. But I caught it, and I think what happened before was this engine had kind of been gone through, I don't know, a couple years ago, because they thought they were going to run it again, but they never did. And so somebody checked the valve lash, did the fluids and all that crap. But I think the head of the valve was already damaged, but you couldn't see it. Let's see, pull this. I see I'm fixing it with a lash cap. See, there's a groove right there, and that groove is kind of like a valley, so it goes like this. And with the rocker on there, there was a crap ton of valve lash. So I am going to put that guy right there. And I've actually, this is too large for this valve. This is 11/32. This is an 8mm valve. But I ground it down so that way the top is touching the valve stem. It's good enough. That'll get it back going again without crap tons of valve lash. And the rocker, it actually started to hit the retainer. You can see that groove right there. So could have been really bad, but avoided and hopefully fixed so I could do more burn outage today, because today is actually the memorial race for Spencer. This is his old car. You know that now. But the plan is, you see I've got hard BFG street tires in the back. And that is only for burnouts for distance. I'm gonna try and do a burnout all the way around that racetrack. Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. So I'm kind of hoping this survives, and I'm turning the rev limiter down. I didn't realize the rev limiter was still set to 9,300. So this thing was probably sitting there buzzing at like 9,400 RPM in that footage you just saw. So I'm gonna drop that down to 8,500 because these valve springs are 15 years old. So 8,500, we're gonna drop it at, or 8,400, we're gonna drop it 1,000 RPM, and then just go out there and spin tires. And then after this weekend, it's getting all new valve springs. Okay, I'm gonna finish putting this back together, hood down, and head out to the track. Further detective work, I'm gonna say the damage was already done to the head of that valve stem, and somebody had a lash cap on it before. Because as soon as I put that lash cap on there and then put the rocker back on, my valve lash is now the same as all the others. So I'm thinking it just spit the old valve lash cap out. And when I replaced it, the lash was back to normal. Detective work.
Rip it down for him.
Finish the clock. Gotta put new tires on that thing for racing.
That's my son. Woo, birdie! He blew it up. He got a fire.
I guess they ain't racing tonight.
He's got a fire under there.
I drive it.
Tell him to move again. He's gonna go for it.
All loaded up, the motor survived, didn't blow up. It's good to race another day. And this car is actually going to Duct Tape Drags next weekend. So since it survived, it gets rewarded with more beating. And then after that, it's going to the road course if it survives that. So this is like an awesome toy, old NASCARs. Anyways, I had a lot of fun building this car, and I had a lot of fun thrashing this car. So I will see you guys next time at Duct Tape Drags.